What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. All right, welcome to the MG Show. We are live. It is Friday. We've got free Rumble Premium. What's all the hype about with Rumble Premium? We're going to give you a preview of what we're doing every day, Friday, but we're only need to do 5 hours. So we've already done 5 hours of premium, guys. So what does that mean? That it's a Friday. And we don't have to do any premium because we promised you that we'd only do 5 hours of premium. So you get to see a preview of what you're missing if you don't have Rumble Premium. Shady Grove, get on over here.
I am excited. I am excited for Friday. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for all of the winning. I'm excited because I'm sitting here, Jeff, and I've witnessed for the last 6 months of 135,000% what it was that we all voted for. The work that we did for the 5-6 years before that election is paying off right now. The dividends are starting to come in, and it's really amazing to see every single aspect of what I'm seeing unfolding, not just in the economy, but in the trade deals, in the immigration sector, in the value of everybody's property. Every single thing that you could think about of America is improving every single day. Yep. And literally, man, it's weird because part of the reason that we were upset at the system whenever we started this journey of our lives of discovering the truth was the idea that nothing ever gets fixed. Nothing ever gets solved. Everybody just gets in there and breaks more things. And so how can you possibly ever get to the end of it? And Donald Trump is fixing things, everybody. And it's just interesting to watch how heavy these people are coming, that are trying to bring this weight of this nonsense on the current administration, considering what he's done for us for the last 6 months. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being here.
Yep. Eagle Rising, $1 Rumble rant. Let's make a woodpile. You know what I'm thankful for, Shady? Not just finally seeing stuff fixed. I am happy that all of these Q proofs are happening because we were always wrong. Oh, you're QAnon influencer. Booga, booga, booga. You're bad. Oh, we got to take your Patreon. We got to take your PayPal. We got to take your Teespring. You can't have Cash App. Oh, no, YouTube, you got to go. You're disinformation, even though we've been right this whole freaking time.
Exactly right. And this audience, you guys kept us here. If it wasn't for you, you followed us around. You followed us platform to platform. You supported us. We did a broadcast for a year and a half, almost a year and a half. They take us off of YouTube, completely demonetize everything. We're lost in the weeds. We go to Red State Talk Radio in the middle of nowhere. You guys showed up. You came to us. We didn't come looking for you. We just wanted to broad.
Hot on the mic. I'm hot on the mic. We're back. Shady.
Already?
I think we're back.
Does
Yeah.
anybody know that? Can
Does
we get
anybody-
a confirmation?
Can we
Okay.
can we see 17s?
17s if we're good.
You guys didn't like the dating game music?
The dating game. Yeah, I just now realized that we had the dating game music.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
We'll
we're
be
back.
right back.
5-5. So, so I'm talking about General Flynn possibly running the shadow government on behalf of Barack Hussein Obama and the rogue military intel agencies. He's having a meeting with Charles Flynn, who could be behind January 6th, guys. Okay, these people are probably allegedly behind January 6th. Do your research. And it's insane what's happening. But what I'm happy about, and let me just go back and reiterate, I'm happy that we get tons of Q proofs every day. Every day has been a Q proof this year, Shady.
So it's interesting what you're talking about with the Flynn thing. I just like they're all happy, laughing and scratching over there, acting like that they're somehow running something. I just find that very interesting because if you think about it, Jeff, with all these influencers and all these digital soldiers that are mimicking these horse pucky narratives, well, you gotta direct them, don't you? You gotta be their general, don't you? So now you're going to, what are you doing? You're bringing in your brother. So effectively what you are seeing is what? You know, all these people were screaming. Weren't they screaming and telling me that I had to let the military run my election?
Yeah.
Weren't they screaming and telling me that I had to let the military the military is what's going, the military, once we hand all the power to them, the devolution, they're going to fix it all, the continuity of government, hand it over to, it's almost like they're acting like they're running a continuity of government coup against the current administration, and they're out there in public acting like they're fundraising and acting like, oh, they're just, America first, as they're really doing something else in the background, which is using their 10 501c4s to bring in foreign money and distribute it amongst their corrupt friends.
That's right. Real quick, I want to thank a couple of people. Thank you so much. Ross Pierre for the wood pile, $17. $50. Lisa, 17. Blair, stacking that pile. Thank you. That added a lot. Thank you. Oh, no, looks like you need more for the wood pile. Thank you, Eagle Rising, $2. And $1, President-elect Hugh. I follow the truth. The truth is what led me here, and that is the truth that keeps me here. Thank you so much for that. Patriot 17, what a time to be alive. I wanted to just real quick look at this. So this is what, let me just show you this. General Mike Flynn and Charles Flynn, who didn't like the optics of January 6th, okay? Speaking to ambassadors from around the world, I made a comment that this folder looks like it was printed off of a 1984 inkjet printer.
Because it was.
This is not official. This is presented fired by Donald J. Trump, Michael T. Flynn, retired USG Army 3-star, Russia, with Adam Lovinger, VP of Strategic Affairs, Gold Institute for International Strategy. What the hell is this? They all have institutes and foundations for a reason, don't they? Save the date, Shady. Look at this weird logo. Looks weird. Weird. And then you got this douche nozzle. Okay? This douche nozzle did not like the optics. He waited for MAGA to be violent, guys. Okay? And I'm tired. And there they are talking about 17 people? Look at, they got nobody. And they're in front of this weird wall. I'm telling you guys, I don't like them. And then Roger Stone said he met with Besson, but if you look at that picture, it looks like Roger Stone's 10 years younger. Was that from the first administration, Roger? I mean, when you were like, you guys, and Larry Loomer is pictured there, and she looks weird. She almost looks photoshopped into that. These people are lying to you. General Flynn does not have any close proximity to Donald J. Trump, thanks to Susie Wiles, okay? And Mark Licivita. Yeah, nor does Stone, okay? I'm tired of these people. I'm tired of them because they are fooling a lot of people, and it makes me mad. Ducks, one subscription to the MG show. So that's where we're at. So let me just keep it over here because I want to show you, guess who might be getting confirmed today? And I said, LMAO, what a clown show. Confirm Earl Matthews. General Flynn, this is not a fight that I asked or welcomed for, but rather one that was thrust upon me when your protege, close collaborator Laura Loomer, chose to publicly attack me and specifically mentioned your brother in the context of my January 6th testimony to the Loudermilk Committee. The Loudermilk Committee found that Army leaders intentionally delayed the deployment of the D.C. National Guard on January 6th for reasons of optics, although not in the chain of command yet. Your brother, as our chief operating officer, was very much involved in the delay. He later falsely testified to Congress that he played an active role in getting D.C. National Guard to the Capitol. He played no such role. Your brother also falsely testified that he was not an active participant on the critical 2:30 p.m. call, despite multiple people testifying under oath that he was. Liz Cheney's J6 committee knew about but ignored your brother's falsehoods because the committee was squarely focused on targeting our president, your president, President Donald J. Trump, who had nothing to do with the delay of the D.C. National Guard, as I state in sworn testimony. Lastly, your protege falsely claims that I'm a disciple of Mark Milley, which everyone in D.C. knows is ridiculous. I note for you that there was no officer in our Army closer than Mark Milley than Charlie Flynn. Okay. Milley revived his career when it had stagnated, made him a G3 of the Army, and then advocated for his elevation to full general. Personally acting Secretary of Defense Chris Miller to make sure Charlie was nominated and promoted before Biden was inaugurated. I can say a great deal more if you'd like me to. Now, these people are now, inviting foreign people to discuss Mike Flynn's and Charlie Flynn's intel crap, Shady. Who the hell are these people? I'm sorry.
Well, they don't have a security clearance. They don't have access to anybody with a security clearance. So what in the world could they possibly be selling? Oh, wait, they're probably selling access. Oh, wait, they're probably trying to pretend like they have access so that they can raise more funding from people from around the world that don't know any better. Isn't that an interesting grift? A literal grift. A grift is whenever you're misrepresenting the truth with what you're presenting to other people. Wouldn't that be the definition of a grift? This is my statement. The truth does not have a team. There's no team. You don't need a team with the truth. You don't need a group. You don't need a bunch of peers. You don't need anybody else. All you need is the truth. There's no team. So this idea that, you've got to get over here, or we're fighting over here, doing this over here. I don't need to be on your team. I'm not on your team. I don't want to be on your team. I have no desire whatsoever to participate in your team antics. That is whenever we get into trouble. The founding fathers didn't found America and say, hey, let's create a bunch of teams. No, they said, hey, let's create a bunch of individuals. An individual is what is protected by the Constitution, not a team. Corporations are not supposed to be protected by the Constitution, even though the Supreme Court has made some bad decisions about how they're protecting corporations, quote unquote, freedom of speech and other nonsense that's happened in the past. You are an individual. We are all individuals. This conversation has gotten so degraded, Jeff. It's gotten so driven into the corner because they're acting like if you don't agree with me on this topic, then you are somehow different than me. That mentality is the Democrat mentality.
Yeah.
That mentality is the Marxist communist mentality. You can paint it up all you want, but the idea is everything to do with Marxism, socialism, and communism is about, quote unquote, the community. Well, that's the team. And you're an individual. You should fight for yourself, not for other people.
Yeah. So they voted yesterday for Cloture, which sends that vote to the Senate so they can vote for Earl Matthews and confirm him. So that happened yesterday, the Cloture vote. Then they need to bring it to the Senate to vote. Okay. So that is on the schedule for today, 7:25. Okay. So we're looking at Earl Matthews. They don't want Earl Matthews. The Dems don't, and the Flynns don't. They don't want Earl Matthews confirmed because he's going to be the head of the DOD lawyer thing, guys.
The head attorney for the Department of Defense is what he's been nominated for. Top dog attorney. The guy that can actually look into and investigate things. That's the reason they're so nervous. As a matter of fact, Jeff, just yesterday, the Flynn nuts were acting like, it was really funny that Earl Matthews hadn't been confirmed yet. I find that interesting that you want to be derogatory to the person that Donald Trump has actually nominated, and I'm supposed to worship the guy that Donald Trump put out to pasture at West Point.
Yeah, exactly right. Real quick, Rev Rob and D2757 gifted subscriptions, guys. And 725 Christmas in July. DBQ17 girl says, did you know that there is a Q post that was reposted in July 28th? It says Merry Christmas at the bottom. And did you know that Ghislaine Noel Maxwell was born on Christmas? And did you know that when does a bird sing? DOD Todd Blanche is actually going to interview her again 6 hours yesterday and more today. And they had a treasure trove of documents Ghislaine Maxwell was seen with. Guys, there's something big on the horizon. And then we have our president, Donald J. Trump, talk about Epstein today, saying that you should investigate Bill Clinton. You should investigate some of the big hedge fund managers. You should investigate people at Harvard. Guys, stay tuned. This is going to get good.
Because this is exactly what we told you that it was whenever all of these people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and all these other nuts and Alex Jones starts flipping out about Epstein. We're like, boy, oh boy, you guys sure didn't care about Epstein at all back whenever, we were talking about it 6 or 7 years ago. Remember, we started talking about this stuff in like 2018. And when we wanted to talk about it, you guys were very shy. You didn't want but now you think you can connect it to Donald Trump. You get all loud and boisterous and you all of a sudden start agreeing with the Democrats. Isn't it interesting, Jeff, that they all agree with the Democrats on this stuff, and then they all agree with the Democrats about, the stuff with Iran also? It's like, they're really kind of no different than the Palestinian people that took over Colombia, are they?
Yeah. Yeah. So here is this right here, Shady Grove, at 8 p.m. 2 roll call votes. 1, confirmation of the right nomination if invoked. And 2, the cloture on Earl Matthews to be general counsel of the Department of Defense. Now, let's go look and see what cloture means, Shady Grove.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We're going to go on a learning adventure.
Together all forever, my friend.
Cloture.
So it's a procedure for ending the debate about Earl Matthews and taking a vote. It's a cloture motion. So what they did is said, okay, yesterday they passed it, okay, according to the documents, they did pass that cloture vote, which means, okay, we're done in the committee talking about it. Now we're going to send it to the Senate and vote. It's a
cloture.
Yeah. So this is big. So it is on the schedule for today, okay? But it could actually be, delayed because this guy, they don't want him confirmed. Guaranteed.
You do a great job teaching us without a blackboard.
Cloture.
Thank you.
I like to bring
cloture
to things, Shady Groove.
I really appreciate it. That's one of the reasons I love you.
I love you too. Oh. And I love all of you.
It's Friday. How could you not love these guys?
It's Friday, yeah. Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So Trump visits the Federal Reserve. Wow, that's almost a Q-proof, Shady Groove.
It's like the greatest day ever.
Wow. And I'm telling you guys right now, we have got so many Q-proofs happening right now, okay? Let's just go over them one by one. Let's just see. I got to scroll down a lot right here.
That's good. That means we're busy.
All right, so we have another pesky Q-proof, Shady Grove. These are pesky.
They really are.
7/24/25, President Donald J. Trump tours the Federal Reserve. In Q post on 7/25, which is today, Federal Reserve ending, structure, Q, future proves past. 2+2 confirmations fast. We will never again be under their control, okay? This is the future proves past. And by the way, what's wrong with the Federal Reserve building? Is that structure all dismantled right now, Shady Grove?
Structure is FUBAR, bro. Wow. All the way to the basement. Wow. I can't believe what I saw there yesterday.
Dick Bove says President Trump is poised to take control of the Federal Reserve back on Friday, July 20th, 2018. President Trump sharply criticized the Federal Reserve this week, saying interest rates increase are hurting the country. Wow, this is loop 2, Shady Grove. We're doing this again, aren't we?
We're right back on the treadmill.
Trump will have the opportunity to fashion the central bank in the image he would like, as he has 4 vacancies to fill. That was back then, okay? Then you've got another article that this post links to. Strategist Mark Grant, Trump has the right to call out the Fed if it's not acting in U.S. best interest, guys. Wow. 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 So 724 of 25 and 725 of 18. Pesky.
Wow. Yeah,
Pesky.
boy, it just happens like a big coincidence that we just backed right into having this day on the day before the delta of that day is pretty amazing.
Pesky, Shady.
And this was like nothing short of amazing.
Let's go to it right here. Let me go to right here. Here we go. This is good, guys. Oh my God, this is so good.
It's so good.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking at the construction.
We're looking at the structure, guys. Look at the structure. It's in shambles right now. Look at that, Shady.
The structure's not good.
And we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on
Get over here, you jackass.
And we're just taking a look at what's happening. You know,
Doesn't he look like the Darth Vader guy from Spaceballs?
He's totally like this. It's like so uncomfortable. And it gets better.
Construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed, one of the reasons why we wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses. Wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
I haven't heard that from
I haven't heard that from anybody. T. Brian B is now a monthly supporter, Shady. I haven't heard that from anybody, Shady. This is no overrun.
You guys, like, we voted for Donald Trump to stand with the guy on TV and
Look at this.
Pull the paper out of his pocket and make him look like a complete idiot.
I love it.
Good. It's so good, man.
the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us.
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished.
It was built 5 years ago, and we got to upgrade it again for another, what? These people are insane, Shady.
I think he's talking about like it's all part of the same project. Like, you know, they built the building and then they started on this at the same time. This has been going on for a long time. You could tell this has been going on for a long time by looking at this site.
And you want this guy in control of your monetary policy?
No.
I mean, you understand what is happening here, guys?
It's the last thing I want. I want the guy on the left in charge of my
This guy.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any?
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire them.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you cause to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time because it looks like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So,
Mr. President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. But other than that, what can I tell you? The country is doing really well. I just briefed the chairman on the deal we made with Japan. Japan is putting up $550 billion in order to lower their tariffs a little bit. That way they have a little bit lower tariff. And they also opened their country to free trade, which nobody thought was even a problem.
Now, I want you really guys to pay attention to his, like, he doesn't like tariffs. He hates the tariffs, guys. Okay. The tariffs are actually restructuring the Federal Reserve System, and he hates it. That is why there is a hidden war that's not really, that it's a hidden war because they're fighting back by not lowering the interest rates. Okay. They're
Correct.
not lowering the interest rates because they're trying to offset the debt to make it bigger, okay? So you don't feel the $1 trillion of savings, okay? Every point, it's $1 trillion. It's $333 billion per point. He wants it lowered 3 points, guys. That's $1 trillion of savings. So even though we have a surplus in the Treasury with the tariffs, we would have even more if this douchebag would lower the interest rates. It's very simple. It's macroeconomics, really.
It's actually basic. It's literally the basics of all economics. And effectively, what's happening is we're proving that this whole process of the Federal Reserve is actually inept because it isn't functioning properly. Because the Fed is supposed to control the money supply and control inflation. The way you would control inflation right now would be you would keep the rates up if inflation were high. But if inflation were coming down, and we have seen month after month after month after month of inflation dropping, therefore that dictates that if you were doing your job properly, that the rate has to fall with it. That's why Europe is doing that. And what Trump was saying, he's like, hey, look, Europe has lowered 11 times. You haven't lowered at all. Why are you letting them beat us? Because effectively, they're letting people borrow money for nothing. We can't let people borrow money for nothing. People are doing business with them instead of with us. Why are you pushing the business out of the door in America over to them and complaining about the tariffs that are making you $1 trillion? BS.
And remember, the Rothschild-controlled banks are the ones that we are doing business with country to country, thereby usurping the Federal Reserve power on those tariffs, guys. The Federal Reserve doesn't want tariffs. They want you in squalor, guys.
Yes.
They want you to be slaves to the system. And then they want to bring in all these, what is it, the Cloward and Piven. They want to bring in all these illegals and put a strain on your social system and totally sink the United States of America. These people hate America.
And that's also a very good point to make, is that the different banks that are connected to the Federal Reserve, with every deal that Donald Trump makes, we've been talking about this regularly on the show, it weakens the Federal Reserve. Every single time that Donald Trump makes a deal like what he just did with Japan, that weakens the central bank in Japan and strengthens the bond between America and Japan without the Federal Reserve in the middle. So we're effectively taking out the middlemen.
Yeah. Crazy. Interesting. All right. So let's go back to this. Here we go. This guy, this little butt nozzle. Look at him. Look at him.
Possibility. And we get a zero tariff in the free trade. We don't pay tariffs. And they're going to pay 15% on everything they send into our country. So it's great. But they put up, as you could call it, seed money. Let's call it seed money. You could call it anything you want. But it's a total of $550 billion. So nobody thought any of that was possible. And it's wonderful. And we're doing pretty well with the European Union, likewise. And we have some others. They're all really big, and our country's going to make a lot of money. We would be helped if interest rates would come down, but we're going to see how the board rules on that soon. I'd love to see them come down a lot. But we have a country that's...
Whoa, did you see that?
Yeah.
I'd love to see him come down a lot. He scowled, Shady.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to 350, 47.
Watch his face.
Watch.
Board rules on that soon. I'd love to see them come down a lot. But we have a country that's thriving. We had a dead country 1 year ago. Today we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And we'll get this one finished.
Mr. President, you
Thank you.
think that Jerome Powell's a numbskull?
Yeah, he is a numbskull. Did you hear the question? Mr. President. Wait.
Mr. President, did you say that Jerome Powell was a numbskull?
Yeah, I think he is. I know he's a numbskull, Shady.
Absolutely is. Of course he is. He's absolutely. And the press thinks that they're going to somehow antagonize the situation. This is another hat trick. I got to talk about this real quick. This is another hat, the hat trick that he pulled with the with the offering people, if you want to come to America and be an American citizen, you can pay $5 million and become an American citizen. Trillions of dollars in revenue that nobody even thought of anything close to something like that. Well, he's doing it again with this $550 billion thing from Japan. See, this is not a tariff. This whole thing he just did with Japan, this is free and clear. Think about this deal. I just want to outline this so you understand what he did. They're going to give us $550 billion to start industry here in America, where that everything, all the proceeds that are made from that money are going to America, 90%, 10% to them. This is not about a tariff. This is about investing in America. And guess what? He said, oh, well, you've got this 25%. Here, Mr. President, we've got this 25% tariff, and we know we're letting you free trade with us, but we'd like to negotiate that down to 15%. So here's what we'd like to do. We would like to make a $550 billion investment into business in America, where this is the deal. You get 90%, we get 10%. And if we do that, would you consider lowering that tariff for us to 15%? So we're only paying 15%, considering before we were paying 2%. And that's a little bit closer to something we can work with.
So you're saying that $550 billion of business into the U.S. to pay down the tariff percentage that they pay in, is that like called the art of the deal? Is that why tariffs are so important, Shady?
It is exactly because you're using it as leverage. It's the only thing that we would have in a negotiation to use as leverage. There's no other leverage. The whole establishment has taught you that you can't use leverage, that you're a bully if you use leverage. Meanwhile, they're leveraging against you in every single aspect of all of this stuff with like climate change and transgender and all. They're leveraging with all of that against your emotional, well-being.
Yeah.
It's amazing, Jeff. I mean, we could have never guessed stuff like this would happen. And now that you see this with Japan, the other countries are going to say, "Oh, we can make an investment into America and pay down the amount of tariffs we're going to have to pay." And don't even get me started, bro. Amazing, amazing. I'm excited.
Wow. Okay, so back to what are we talking about?
We're talking about all the winning that we're doing against the Federal Reserve. This is Friday, Jeff. We're going to be going to premium here in about 15, how many minutes?
I don't know. We might not be exact whenever we get there, because we got to go through the Epstein stuff now, Shady Grove.
That's where we're at. That's exactly. See, you knew where we were at the whole time.
You didn't, though.
I did, because I was, man.
I got distracted, Shady. I'm sorry.
That's fine, because you took your distraction. You tried to distract me. Then we both end up distracted. The audience
and then we're
suffers.
distracted. It's crazy. Douche canoe.
Douche canoe. That's the best one. I love that.
Don't be tweaking on me.
Don't be tweaking, man.
All right. So let's go live to President. Well, he was live this morning. You might have missed it. I was going to say you were sleeping. But this is President Trump answering reporters' questions on Epstein and Gaza, starvation crisis, and tariffs. Oh, you're going to love this, guys. I love this because it's possibly Q-proofs all over the place.
it's like they're cascading like an avalanche.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go look at this. Wait.
Oh,
we do this live. Hang on. Where is he?
Oh, man. That was not queued up very well.
Queued up? They queued up.
He was in such.
Wait.
Oh, man. Really? Now we have to scrub the video?
I'm just going to do this. All right, here we go.
3 months ago. And his life a little bit. And years, I'd say, he became really political. And he said, I'm so angry at myself for not doing it early. He was happy. But he took a beating. When you look at the life that they lived, he would wrestle sometimes 200 times a year. Think of that. I say, what do you wrestle every weekend? No, he said, sometimes you wrestle every night. And it's hard to believe. But being a friend, I got to see his life a little bit. And his knees were in trouble, his back was in trouble. He was in such trouble, but he was great. He was a great man. He was an incredible showman, and he was really a great friend. And he was a great friend to MAGA.
Talking about an executive order to help clean up the streets of America yesterday, help get homeless people into treatment. Can you talk about why this is a common sense approach to help make everybody safer.
Well, it is, and right outside we have some tents. I'm getting rid of them right now. You can't do that, especially in Washington, D.C.
I need a better camera there, Staticky.
Lord, that is some
I know.
bad camera work.
I know, Staticky.
Woo, B.
Woo, Staticky. Staticky.
You gotta tell me, man. I
It's
can't hear it.
staticky.
So
No,
if you
I
don't
know.
say it, I can't hear it.
It's staticky. Ty,
Hey,
let me.
you
let me
have
just-
to say it.
Yeah, staticky.
Okay, I'll mute right now.
No, you're good because I'm not talking. You can help fill in now when I'm looking for something else. It's your show.
I know it's my show. That's why I didn't realize it was the static. We're having issues. I'm gonna I'll take this moment to explain the issue. Zoom is a piece of crap, and because for whatever reason it back bleeds the sound from my board into Zoom whenever we play music. So whenever you hear stuff being played from Jeff, for some reason we cannot fix this issue of Zoom. I mute on my board, and Jeff still hears it, but he claims that it's me somehow. Yes, I was muted effectual. I did that on purpose because I was
He's being mean.
Jeff. Yes, I was being mean. People think that I'm not mean. Jeff will tell you otherwise.
Counseling.
Yes.
And you're still muted.
No, I'm not.
What are you hoping
And now you're gaslighting me.
People are
You can't gaslight me on Friday. You said last week in counseling that you would no longer gaslight me on Friday because we had like heavy pressure and eggs.
Welcome to Gaslight Friday.
All right, here we go. Let's watch this. Here we go.
What are you hoping Todd Blanche gets out of his meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well, I don't know about the meeting. I know it's taking place, and he's a fantastic man. He's a great attorney, and people should really focus on how well the country's doing, or they should focus on the fact that Barack Hussein Obama led a coup, or they should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about. Because, you know, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about. And they should speak about them, because they don't talk about them. They talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Are you considering Ghislaine Maxwell? Are you considering will you do any business deals with the UK?
Yeah, I'm going to meet with the Prime Minister right now. We're going to be over there in about 6 hours. We're meeting with the Prime Minister tonight. We're going to be talking about the trade deal that we made and maybe even improve it.
Are you considering clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell? Are you considering clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell, sir?
I saw homeless people sleeping right outside the gates of the White House. Are you concerned about that?
I think it's terrible, and we'll have them removed immediately. We do remove it. We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over, and I think it's terrible. Where are they? Where did you see them?
Just right outside on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Near the Treasury.
Right across the street from Mr. President, have you heard about Todd Blanche's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Are you still disappointed in President
Biden or clemency for doing
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir.
We'll take care of it.
Are you hoping to meet with President Trump for bringing hostages home? What are the alternative methods to bring hostages home?
Well, we got a lot of them out, and it's I've always said those last 10 or 20 are going to be the toughest, because Hamas knows what happens when they don't have any bargaining chips. and they really broke a deal. They broke a deal, and you're going to have to do what you have to do right now. It's a terrible thing. And I always do that. I said, when you get down to the last one, they're not going to be able to make a deal.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if you cooperated?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something.
Recommended
It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out, sir?
Why has the dollar fallen so much, and are you concerned about that?
Well, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar, but a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. Hate to tell you, I don't know if you study it, but I study it. And if you look at the yen,
I went to Penn and worked, so I know this.
you understand.
Absolutely.
Oh, you did go to Penn.
I went to work. Yes,
Well,
sir.
that means you're a smarter guy than I even thought, and I know you're smart. So, when we have a strong dollar, one thing happens: it sounds good. But you don't do any tourism. You can't sell tractors. You can't sell trucks. You can't sell anything. It is good for inflation. That's about it. And we have no inflation. We've wiped out inflation. But it's an interesting question. So I will never say I like a low currency, but you remember the battles I had with the yuan, with China and with Japan, Japan being the yen. They always wanted a weak currency. They're trying to get a weak currency now. Now, it doesn't sound good, but you make a hell of a lot more money with a weaker dollar. Not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar. And the first people that are going to notice it are the manufacturers of trucks and various other things. Like, look at Caterpillar, how well they're doing now. When you have a strong dollar, you can't sell anything. It's only good for inflation, and it's good psychologically. It makes you feel good. But with that being said, I love strong dollars, but you make your money with a currency. And I had so many different fights with President Xi, between Japan and China. All they want to do is have a weak currency. They're always fighting for a weak currency. And that's how they really dominated over the years. So when I see it down there, I don't lose sleep over it, let's put it that way. In fact, sometimes I go to sleep very happy. You understand? Do you agree with me?
I agree with a lot of what you said, Mr. President. Do you think it makes it any easier to impose your tariff with that lower dollar? Because
I think it makes it easier even for tariffs, yeah. And it makes the tariffs worth much more. And it's easier to pay off debt.
Two smart guys talking.
At a low interest rate. There are a lot of good things. It's hard to explain to people. The headline we go, Trump wants a weak dollar. It's not a weak dollar. You take a look at the history of China over the last 20 years. All they do is fight for a weak currency. Look at Japan when they were really doing well. They had a very weak currency. So to me, I just say thank you very much. It is.
what's your comment on Israel? Have you given up on a Gaza ceasefire?
Well, the Gaza situation, and I said this was going to happen when you get down to your last 10 or 20. We got a lot of hostages out. We took them out in numbers that nobody believed, a lot of them. And I said, when you get down to 10 or 20, I don't think Hamas is going to make a deal because that means they have no protection. And basically, that's what happened. Hamas didn't want to make a deal.
Have you seen that photo?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to be hunted down.
Have you seen secondary sanctions sooner on Russia? Are you closer today to secondary sanctions?
We're looking at that whole situation. It could be that we'll have to put secondary sanctions on there.
Sooner than 50 days?
Maybe, yeah.
Do you think it will counterproductive?
Who are you with? Who are you with?
Scripps News.
Oh, good.
Counterproductive to France, for France to say that they would recognize the Palestinian state. Macron said that yesterday.
Look, he's a different kind of a guy. He's okay. He's a team player, pretty much. But here's the good news: what he says doesn't matter. You know, it's not going to change it. Well, he made a statement, France, Macron. His statement doesn't carry any weight. He's a very good guy. I like him, but that statement doesn't carry weight.
So how important is the trade deal with the EU?
I would say that we have a 50-50 chance, maybe less than that, but a 50-50 chance of making a deal with the EU. And it'll be a deal where they have to buy down their tariffs, because they're right now at 30%. and they'll have to buy them down, maybe, or they could leave them the way they are. But they want to make a deal very badly. I would have said we have a 25% chance with Japan, and they kept coming back, and we made a deal, and the deal is, don't forget, Japan's putting up $550 billion. It's a lot of money. And also paying tariffs. The biggest part of the Japan deal, and maybe we get this with EU, maybe we don't, is that we have the right to go in and trade. We have the right. They've totally opened Japan to just to the U.S. That's, to me, the biggest part of the deal.
What level tariff are you looking for? You said repeatedly you would like to see further nuclear arms reductions between the United States and
like
Russia.
to see that.
But the New START treaty is expiring in about 6 months, and it cannot be legally extended.
That's a problem. That's a problem for the world.
Create a new one.
It's a problem for the world. You know, we have restrictions, and they have restrictions, as you know, on nuclear. That's not an agreement you want expiring. We're starting to work on that, but that is a big problem for the world. When you take off nuclear restrictions, that's a big problem for the world.
What level tariff are you, Mr. President?
I think that Jerome Powell, I think we had a very good meeting. Forgetting about the building, that's out of control and all that. But I think we had a very good meeting on interest rates. And he said to me, now I don't know if he's going to say this on Thursday or whenever he speaks, but he said to me very strongly, the country is doing well. He said, congratulations, the country is doing really well. And I got that to mean that I think he's going to start recommending lower rates.
Because of that
How do you
conversation?
think that the Supreme
The
Court...
country really is doing well.
Mr. President, how do you think that...
Record business.
Did you speak to Netanyahu?
Thank you, Mr. President. How do you think that the Supreme Court's ruling that benefited you on presidential immunity would apply to former President Barack Obama and what you're accusing him of doing?
It probably helps him a lot. Probably helps him a lot, the immunity ruling. But it doesn't help the people around him at all. But it probably helps him a lot. He's done criminal acts, there's no question about it. But he has immunity, and it probably helps him a lot.
Trade agreement you're looking to sign
He
soon.
owes me big. Obama owes me big.
What are the details in the UK trade agreement you're hoping to sign soon with the Prime Minister?
This week we want to talk about certain aspects which is going to be good for both countries. More fine-tuning, and also we're going to do a little celebrating together because, you know, we got along very well. UK's been trying to make a deal with us for like 12 years and haven't been able to do it. We got it done. He's doing a very good job, good Prime Minister, good guy. We really get along very well. So we're going to meet at Turnberry and we're going to meet at Aberdeen. So two beautiful places.
Is there wiggle room in steel and aluminum if they were to budge on digital services tax?
Say it.
Is there any wiggle room on steel and aluminum in exchange for any budge on digital services?
Not a lot, because if I do it for one, I have to do it for all. So on that, steel and aluminum, not a lot.
President, did you speak to Netanyahu about aid drops?
Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
Mr. President, did you speak to Netanyahu about allowing aid drops in Gaza from Arab countries?
Yeah, I speak to him, but I can't tell you what I spoke to him about. But it was sort of disappointing, although I told you. I mean, I told you. When you get down to those last 20 hostages, you get down to that last 10 or 20, it's going to be very hard for Hamas to make a deal because they lose their shield, they lose their cover. We got a lot of them out, a lot of them. We took a lot of bodies out, too. You know, so many of the parents said, please get my son's body back. And we're able to do that. We got a lot of people out, live and people that are not alive. But it was very important to the parents to get their son back, even though they knew their son was dead. Are you going to be able to get the Open Championship back to Turnberry? I think they will do that, yeah. They want Turnberry is rated the #1 course in the world. I think they'll do that, yeah. And are you going to talk to anybody about that? No, I'm not going to. It's not about that. I'm going to see it for the first time in years. You were there the last time we went. That's pretty good, right? No, it's the best resort in the world, I think, at Turnberry, and it's one of the greatest courses in the world. We're going to see it. We're going to have, I believe, dinner at Turnberry with the Prime Minister. Then we're going to go to the oil capital of Europe, which is Aberdeen, and we're going to have lunches there. We're going to have a good time. I think the Prime Minister and I get along very well.
You're going to see the Scottish leader too, right?
I am.
What's that about?
Well, we have a lot of things in Scotland. I have a lot of love. My brother was born in Scotland, and he's a good man. The Scottish leader's a good man, so I look forward to meeting him. That's all set up, right?
Paris Day is exactly 1 week from today, August the 1st. What do you expect between now and next Friday as it relates to your deadline?
When you say tariff, not Paris. Tariff. I think you said Paris Day.
No, Paris Day.
Well, most of the deals are finished right now. They're finished because we're just going to charge a certain tariff. A lower tariff that I could get. I don't want to hurt countries. But we're going to send a letter out sometime during the week, and it's basically going to say you're going to pay 10%, you're going to pay 15%, you're going to pay maybe less, I don't know. But Australia was great. They opened up beef yesterday for the first time ever. And they did it, we didn't know about it. We asked them to do it, and all of a sudden we got a word that they wanted. So obviously they're looking to do something. But Australia. So August 1st is going to come, and we will have most of our deals finished, if not all. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe, the EU, which covers a lot of territory, a lot of countries, and that's the big one right now. We have the confines of a deal with China. But we haven't really. We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
When you send out those letters, do you believe that will bring some certainty to the financial markets? Because then they will know.
No. When those letters go out, they're a page and a half. That means they have a deal. It's done. They pay that tariff, and that is a contract essentially. And they can come into the country. They're going to pay a tariff. I'm going to keep it minimal. I'm going to keep it. I'm not looking to hurt countries. I could do that too, but I'm not looking to do that. But when that letter goes out, that's a deal. And we'll be sending maybe close to 200 of those letters out. Don't forget, we have a lot of countries. So we're going to be sending out almost 200 of those letters. But once those letters go out, there we have a deal. Now, we sent one to Japan, we sent one to EU, and they came back and negotiated a deal. I think EU has got a pretty good chance of making a deal.
With all of that revenue coming in, Mr. President,
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Our country was a dead country. It was a dead country 1 year ago. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And don't you feel it?
Mr. President, with all of that revenue coming in, tens of billions of dollars, do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. You just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariffs that a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice.
All right, so let's just leave it there because it's getting harder to hear. But, all he's talking about is Q-proofs right there, Shady Group. He's talking about Epstein, and we're going to go through some of those real quick before we get into Pandora's box. He's talking about the economy. He's talking about the Federal Reserve. He's talking about the interest rates that need to be lowered. He's talking about all the deals that he's doing, thereby restructuring the Federal Reserve. He's talking about everything, investment into your country. Okay, guys, this whole interview is a Q-proof, and it's incredible to witness, isn't it, Shady?
It's incredible to witness because we understand what we were talking
about. By a lot of people.
We understand what we were talking about yesterday, which is a rising tide lifts all boats. It lifts up every boat. It lifts up the boat of the people who are well off. It lifts up the boat of the people who are not so well off. also that we didn't hear him talk about is the whole thing that he just did with empowering different cities to remove the homeless aspect of the people that are clogging up the downtown areas of America around the country. That is a very big deal also, because people need to be, we want a country where people are flocking to our city for business to thrive. You need people to be there. And if you have like all these city centers that are completely abandoned and there's no people there because everybody's afraid they're going to get shot if they go into town, that's not very good for business, and it's not very good for investment. So this is a big, crucial step in that direction by empowering cities to stop with the nonsense of letting vagrants just shoot up and go to the bathroom.
Oh, and that's huge too, man. I mean,
Yep,
wow. You're taking your country back. He's
Right.
giving the country back to you, the people.
Yeah, we could, whenever we were young, you mentioned earlier, we're trying to like get back to this timeline whenever we were young and things were functional. Like, do you remember that? Like, you could go into the city, like you wanted to go to, do you remember Ferris Bueller's Day Off? You wanted to go into the city. The city is fun. Like, it's not supposed to be a cesspool of Gotham. It's not supposed to be drug addicts and criminals. Like, the drug addicts and criminals are supposed to be, obviously they're a part of any city. They're not supposed to be the main attraction.
All right, so let's look at this before we get to the other stuff. This is, could we have another pesky Q proof? When does a bird sing, Shady? On 7/25/2025, DOJ Blanche interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell, and Turley was interviewed, and he says Ghislaine Maxwell has never previously interviewed by investigators, Shady. Who are those investigators? Oh, wow. Q post 4484, SDNY, importance of SDNY control? Epstein evidence collection. The SDNY leads to James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, and the husband taking over for Aubrey Strauss, the U.S. attorney for SDNY, who indicted Ghislaine Maxwell. In addition, Comey's daughter investigated Epstein's suicide and her husband. Does Ghislaine Maxwell's case? 9 posts with Ghislaine here. Boom. Nothing can stop what is coming. Check this out.
Usually, when someone is a key witness in the prosecution of a third party, the defense can also go to a court and ask for a reduction based on new evidence, but we haven't seen that. She was convicted and given 20 years. And so the question is, if there's something there, why haven't they revealed it so far? The third possibility is a commutation, more likely than a pardon, from the president maybe at the end of his term, if she is a highly cooperative witness. So all of those are possibilities for Maxwell. The question is what she has. I was surprised in speaking with a member of the legal defense team a couple days ago when they said the reports that she had been previously interviewed by federal and state prosecutors, investigators, was not true. That she had never been interviewed. Yes, and despite all of these past investigations in this scandal, I was really taken aback by that. So if that's true, she could be an untapped source of new information. The question is, what is that information? Is it just salacious, or is it something more that would reveal criminal conduct?
Jonathan, this is new information for me, and so forgive me, but how do you prosecute someone without doing an interview? I mean, that's like investigative procedure 101.
Well, they're saying that she had interaction, no doubt, in her own prosecution. But when I asked whether she had sat down with investigators, and there were so many investigations on a state and federal level, and I said, are you saying that she was never called forth to give information either in the state or federal systems? And they said no, that she has largely been left untouched by these past investigations. So the question is, what does she still have? And also, why didn't she reveal it before? She had every motivation in the world, if she could trade something, to do so before she was sentenced to 20 years.
Wow. So part 2 is going to happen today. The Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, is going to go back to interview her. Now, he said after this interview, he'll decide if they are going to come to the public with the findings of that. So we look forward to hearing that. Jonathan Turley, Professor, thanks so much for joining the program.
Wow.
I think that there is a lot for you to understand there. Recognize that would you, if you were Ghislaine Maxwell, negotiate?
Usually, when someone is,
I hate this.
Why do you do that to me? So
I don't. X does, and YouTube does. They don't like you, apparently. It's not
Apparently
me.
not.
I
Well,
like
they
you.
did censor me. Yeah, you tell me that.
I do tell you that. For counseling reasons, all right?
Yeah, right, yeah, because now you're like addicted to the counseling. So you wouldn't negotiate with the people that like you were serving. You understand that, right? If you were a person like Elaine Maxwell, you wouldn't go say, "Oh, well, here, like I've got this info on your good friends." You can't negotiate from that position, right? Like, so who could she negotiate with? Bill Barr and all those people back whenever the whole thing happened in Trump version 1. Now, Jeff, you're showing these different things about her, and you've got all of these idiots out there claiming that Donald Trump is connected with them, blaming him, claiming that he's trying to cover all this stuff up. It makes me think that in the end of the day, a number of them that had the loudest voices are going to be exposed the hardest in all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And it's shaping up. So there's Ghislaine Maxwell, SDNY control. Ukraine evidence collection was in the SDNY, a laptop, Epstein, and Ukraine, all in, and Clinton Foundation, all in SDNY to make anything. They didn't want to prosecute these people. They didn't even interview Ghislaine, Shady.
Yep, that's right. Why would you want? That's what I'm saying. Why would you interview the last thing in the world you would do is interview Ghislaine Maxwell? She might say something that incriminates, and then if she were to say something that incriminated one of your friends, you'd have to write it down. And then if you wrote it down, you'd have to get rid of the evidence that you wrote it down. So your best bet is not to interview her. So that means that you've got a guy. So now how are they going to spin this? Now that Donald Trump is sending somebody to actually interview her and to get information from her, but if she doesn't produce information that is that's damning to Donald Trump, they're going to pretend like everything that she says is BS. You watch.
So when does a bird sing? Maybe when they get interviewed by Todd Blanche. Okay, today I met with Ghislaine Maxwell, and I will continue my interview of her tomorrow. The Department of Justice will share additional information about what we learned at the appropriate time. I want to show you this community note, Shady.
Okay.
Missing important context. Todd Blanche served as Trump's personal lawyer, so his efforts are not without bias. No. That's why he's on the freaking team, you dummy.
They said Maureen Comey doesn't have bias, but Blanche does.
Yeah, Maureen Comey has no bias because she's the FBI director's freaking daughter.
Right.
And handled the damn case. Eyes on the family, guys. Follow the family, and that's what you're trust. It's all connected. Uranium One's going to be connected to this. Russia. All of this is going to be connected. Mark my words.
Pallets of Iran cash.
All of it.
Yep.
Connected.
Yep.
Connected.
Part of it. Las
Connected
Vegas
too.
Part of it. Yep. Exactly.
Connected. Did I say
connected?
Connected. All right. So let's take. Let me find our song. We're going to get into Pandora's box because we really want you guys to join Rumble Premium for us. Okay. You go to MG Show. Actually, go to rumble.com/MG Show. Look for the red button and press it. It says join premium and then join premium. But we're going to do this free today because we've got our 5 hours of premium for Rumble this month. And we told you that we'd only do what is required to stay in this program. It is benefiting us. And you guys buying Rumble Premium also benefits us, okay? The amount of time that you watch the video, the likes help us get onto the board for the top, for the top videos of the day. That helps us get more views. So you actually just taking a minute to actually if you can't afford the Rumble Premium, I get it. And we're trying to figure out how we can help everybody with that, but there's really no way at this time to do that, like gift it to you or anything like that. But go to rumble.com/MG Show, sign up for Rumble Premium. That means that you're tagged to us. Thank you. And use code STUDIO. You can get 10% off, I believe, even when you sign up there, okay? And I think they're even giving away maybe 1 month. I can't confirm that, but check it out. And then I want you to make sure you hit that like button. Please hit the like button. If you can't do anything, I understand. Like button helps, okay? And we want to bring quality content to you. And this Rumble Premium that we've been doing, and Yeti is going to flash the image on the board right now. It's called Pandora's Box, okay? The unseen hand is Yeti. Yeah, there it is. Nope, missing subscribe. Oh, he's showing you the subscribe. That's where you subscribe. No, that's not where you subscribe.
I don't know what that was. I
don't know. He might have been just goofing up. Subscribe is the red castle. And you guys can gift those with the gift button. There it is. Pandora's Box, the ultimate. It was just the wrong graphic. Ultimate unseen hand behind the New World Order, right there. That's what we're reading, and you will find out that what we're reading in real time is connecting to today and what President Donald J. Trump is doing, and what we're doing by giving America back to those New World Order folks. Okay. Back to you, the people. And it's very amazing as we read through this. So if you get Rumble Premium, you can go back to the old Friday shows, the last Friday shows, to catch up. There's several ways people like to read or learn. They read, so with the eyes. The ears, they like to hear it read, so we read it. So that's another way of learning. And then just going through it with you guys, too, is another way of learning, right? And we show you the document so you can read it yourself. And you can also hear us read it. Sometimes we goof up a lot, but hey, that just is what it is, Shady. I goof up more than you.
That necessarily isn't true. And Battle Farmer has a great question he'd like to ask you, Jeff. He would like to know, is it connected?
It's connected.
Boom.
Yeah, all of it. It's like a heartbeat. It's like the second heartbeat. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right. So let me find okay, we're going to go ahead and this is normally when we would transfer to Rumble Premium. You would hit the Rumble Premium button. But if you like this show, please join Rumble Premium, because every Friday we go through this book. But this one is a free preview for you guys. And it's about the bloodlines and the shadow government. We'll be right back.
How did Soros replace family? Who's pulling the strings in the dark? Trace the bloodline secrets they hide, tearing the world apart. World War II, a stage for the game. Was Hitler just a pawn? A handler in shadows, calling his name while the world was drawn and gone. What was the purpose, the real one unseen, behind the smoke and the fire? Soros was young, but the wheels kept turning, building a global empire. Since the fall of the Reich, the players remain. Merkel rises, who is she? Follow her bloodline, dig through the pain. Truth's buried in history. Bloodlines and shadows controlling the game. Titanic sank, but who's to blame? The Fed pulls strings, the narrative's tight. The truth's too heavy, it burns in the night. Sheep follow blindly, the story's a lie. Unravel the secrets before we all die. Titanic went down 1912. Why is it still relevant now? Who died on that ship? Who made the list? Who escaped? And how? The elite got lifeboats, the rest left to drown. Class was the key to survive. Names on the records, but some never found. How do we know who's alive? Tickets were bought, but who was invited? Less than 10 held the key. The Fed was born, a beast in the night, controlling the world's money. Who runs the Fed? Who signed its birth? Shadows behind the throne. Hollywood spins, Titanic is love, but the truth cuts to the bone. Bloodlines and shadows controlling the game. Titanic sank, but who's to blame? The Fed pulls strings, the narrative's tight. The truth's too heavy, it burns in the night. Sheep follow blindly, the story's a lie. Unravel the secrets before we all die. Hindenburg burned, a fire fiery psyop who died in the flames that night. Why does it matter? The narrative spun, keeping the sheep in fright. Brainwashing masses, controlling the mind. Snow White's a code for the blind. Iron Eagle soars, thorns in our dreams. CIA scripts intertwined. The truth's so dark, it breaks the world. 99% couldn't cope. Controlled in doses, the story unfolds, but we're climbing the rope. Who writes the script? Who shapes the tale? The elite with blood on their hands. We're waking up now, we're breaking the spell, tearing down their plans. Bloodlines and shadows controlling the game. Titanic sank, but who's to blame? The Fed pulls strings, the narrative's tight. The truth's too heavy, it burns in the night. Sheep follow blindly, the story's a lie. Unravel the secrets before we all die. Throws my eye, a fly.
All right. Well, that song pretty much is called Bloodlines and Shadows, and it is a Q post, okay? And it's talking about the Federal Reserve and Shady Static. It's talking about all of that, Shady.
It was muted the whole time.
I know, but it came back and you went, I don't know why. It's weird. I hear it. I don't know if you guys
you're
hear
hearing it even whenever it's muted?
Do you guys hear it when, did you guys hear it? Did you guys hear that? If it's not going out, then it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's going out.
But it was like I literally had it muted until right then. Are you talking about right then, that moment when I unmuted it?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
don't unmute. Like it's going to like trigger you to unmute every time. Like I can't. I don't understand how to fix this, dude.
I don't either. I don't either.
It's going to like make you like upset every single time I come back. It's crazy, bro.
It's just a sound thing. Shady Static, new song. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that to Shady. You did hear it. Okay. Some people say no. Some people said that they did hear it. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I hear it. Sometimes I don't.
We got to get it fixed.
Yeah.
It does. It can't be me if my board is muted and it doesn't stop it. If Zoom mute stops it, it's got to be a Zoom issue, man. I mean, it's like we had all these issues with BMix.
Yep.
All this other sound crap. So
let's get our bloodline pumping, Shady Group. What do you think?
I don't know. It'll be staticky, probably.
It's always staticky.
All right.
That's all. Don't be upset.
Now I'm upset.
Don't be upset. Don't be upset.
I don't want it to be messed up, and it's like I keep getting all this heat put on me over it.
Dragon Baby says, counseling money needed. Please help, guys.
Oh, we need help with the static.
What do we got, Yeti?
Now Yeti's talking to me.
Pork chops? What's going on? I don't know. I can't. Ignore him. Sorry.
Ignoring it. Now he's what is going on?
Perkins perspective. Zoom is better than the other way we were doing it. Let me tell you, because it was like a second or two off. It was crazy.
The delay in VMix was absolutely mind-numbingly annoying.
Yep. All right, so we need to get our snuff together and get onto this because this is important, and hopefully you guys will join Rumble Premium after watching this. And we're at page 285 of 587 of Pandora's box. Okay, and Q did ask Anons to follow the bloodlines. How many Anons actually followed the bloodlines?
Two.
Well, I would say, Poussant, she's an Anon, Rocket,
the Anon shows.
Yeah. How many Anon shows? Follow the bloodlines. It's important, okay? Q told us to follow the bloodlines, and it's important. And Q also posted on post 1970 that, hey, Q, does P equal pay soar? And Q reposted it, okay? Let's just put in bloodlines. Okay, let's just put in bloodlines real quick. Here it is. This is 2 drops. Hard to swallow. Important to progress. Who are the puppet masters? House of Sod, 6 plus trillion, 4 trillion. And what you guys got to realize is, remember when we got kickbacks from the from Trump administration? This is how much they all cost, and this one was 780 billion because Soros gave away much of his net worth. Okay, so this is interesting. Remember the Trump signed payments, Shady Grove?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So Focus on the above three: House of Saud, Rothschild, Soros. Public wealth disclosure, false. Many governments of the world are feed the eye. Think slush funds, feeder. Think war, feeder. Think environmental pacts, feeder. Triangle has three sides. Eye of Providence, follow the bloodlines. What is the keystone? Does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? Epstein Island? What is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship? Why is the temple on top of a mountain? How many levels might exist below? What is the significance of the colors, design, and symbol above the dome? Aleppo, it looks like an old bathhouse, Shady, right?
Yes, because it's Assyrian. It's ancient.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters traveled to this island? When? How often? Why? Vladimir Putin was once quoted saying, "The New World Order worships Satan." Q Post 142. How did Soros replace Family Y? Who is Family Y? Trace the bloodlines of these three families. What happened during World War II? Was Hitler a puppet? Who was his handler? Right? What was the purpose? What was the real purpose of the war? At what age was George Soros? What is Soros's family history? What has occurred since the fall of Nazi Germany? Who is Angela Merkel? What is Angela Merkel's family history? Follow the bloodline. Yeah. Who died on the Titanic? What year did the Titanic sink? Why is this relevant today? What exactly happened to the Titanic? What class of people were guaranteed a lifeboat? Why did select individuals not make it to the lifeboats? Why is this relevant? How do we know who was on lifeboats? D or A? How were the names and bodies recorded back then? When were the tickets purchased for her maiden voyage? Who was specifically invited? Less than 10. What is the Fed? What does the Fed control? Who controls the Fed? Who approved the formation of the Fed? Why did Hollywood glorify Titanic as a tragic love story? Who lived in the movie? What man? Why is this relevant? Opposite is true. What is brainwashing? What is a psyop? What happened to the Hindenburg? What really happened to the Hindenburg? Who died during the accident? Why is this relevant? What are sheep? Who controls the narrative? The truth would put 99% of the people in the hospital. It must be controlled. Snow White, Iron Eagle, Jason Bourne, CIA, Dream. Q. Did you like my song?
Wow.
Penelope says, yikes. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's hard to follow with the singing. That's why I had the words on the screen. How is it hard to follow with the singing? I think I read it perfectly almost.
We don't know.
I don't know. We can't have fun on our own show.
We can. We just don't like want to listen to other people that say we can't have fun.
Ha ha! I don't like being told what to do.
So if they told
Simon
you not
says,
to have fun, what would you do?
Simon says,
Simon
read about.
Don't have fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Flynn was on Sorter Space saying he moved his office to DC. Is he pretending to work for POTUS? Yes.
We addressed that at the top of the show.
Yeah, rewind all the way back to the top of the show. We actually got kicked off for a minute, and it wasn't Rumble.
Whenever we tried to talk about it, we got kicked off. They had the gremlin.
All right, Candle, that wasn't fun. Yes, it was. Stop it. Have fun once with me.
Man, let loose.
Let loose. It's time to let loose. Put loose. Okay. All right. Here we go, Shady. Let's go to Nikola Tesla. This is where we're at. And we're going to go back into how the Federal Reserve was formed. This is answering all the Q proofs. Do you guys understand? Right?
We do.
These are all of their assets, the pay-sewer assets. Okay, it's huge. All right. So, Shady, do you want to start us off with Nikola Tesla?
I do. I would like to start us off with, and this is relevant really today because a lot of the stuff that we can point back to that has to do with technology and the suppression of technology across all platforms. It's not just about energy. It's also about medicine and a number of other things that are currently coming out. The truth about these things, the truth about how things are affecting you, and the truth about energy is really a big deal because, as you know, energy is what drives the financial world that we live in. Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was born in Smiljan, Croatia, now Yugoslavia, on July 9th of 1856 to 1943. Attended the Polytechnic School of Graz for 4 years. Oh, let me get this balanced in the middle of the screen. There we go. For 4 years, has spent a year at the University of Prague from 1879 to 1880, and his first employment was in a government telegraph engineering office in Budapest, where he made his first invention, a telephone repeater, and conceived the idea of a rotating magnetic field. He subsequently worked in Paris and Strasbourg. Tesla pioneered experiments that led to the discovery of rays, designed guided weapons, and continued inventing new dynamos, transformers, condensers, airplanes, steam turbines, and speedometers. Tesla was encouraged by friends to take his invention to America, where they would be receptive to the new ideas. He was told that Mr. Edison might even be interested in his invention. The manager of the Edison Company in Paris supplied Tesla with a letter of introduction to Edison. So it's interesting how all of this stuff ended up being controlled in the long run, and kind of throughout the last century. Nikola Tesla arrived in New York in 1884 with 4 cents in his pocket and a book of poetry, a paper on his thoughts and flying machine, and his letter of introduction to Edison. Needless to say, the relationship between Edison and Tesla did not work out. Soon after Tesla's run-in with a more than insecure and greedy Edison, he was quickly grabbed up by one J.P. Morgan to be passed on to one L.C. Payseur.
Wait. So you're saying that Payseur and Morgan were actually working together, but it's not in Wikipedia?
Yep, they just say the Morgan part in the old Wikipedia. Yep, they leave this out. It's very interesting how they keep leaving this out of history. It's almost like the bloodlines control history. The winners write it down.
Wow. It's almost like even in Nixon time frame that he expunged the name Payseur out of congressional records, even during the Nixon presidency, Shady.
Yeah, that would be right after he took the dollar off the gold standard, sir, which was the death nail in the American economy. It's the reason that if you're part of our generation, it's the reason you grew up with absolutely nothing, is because of what Nixon did to take the dollar off the gold standard and completely devalue the currency another 70% from then.
And that's why somebody says JP is everywhere, and he's financed by the Payseurs. Do you guys get it now? They are the trustees and the trust owner, agents for the trust, and the trust is owned by the Payseurs. It's called the United States of America and Body Politic, and it's housed in Delaware today.
And it's coordinated and controlled with the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is the head of the snake. That's why Donald Trump is at the Federal Reserve. That's why we're talking about all of this stuff right now, is because it's all relevant to Q, to Trump, and to reorganizing America, the American economy, that back to the point where it benefits you like it was built, instead of it benefiting the elite like it currently does. And by the way, the elite scream and yell at you that, oh, Donald Trump is helping the billionaires. Blah, blah, blah. No, he's hurting the billionaires.
He sure is. And let me ask a question to the audience, and let's see who gets it right. What 3 railroads started and are the parent company of the Federal Reserve? Okay, I'll go ahead and watch for the answer, and I'll call out the right answer when it's done. Shady, go ahead and let's go.
All right. Tesla was a private person, and because of that fact, not a lot was known about his private life. But not all of his travels, associates, and business affairs are known to the point where they could be described in books. After Tesla became associated with Mr. Morgan and Payseur, he was rushed off to Lincolnton, North Carolina. In this general area of the country, there are many records of Tesla having a residence there and owning property there as well. Tesla was invited by Mr. Payseur to come to the Carolinas to create his inventions of alternating current. It was called the Great Falls Experiment. Did anybody get it yet, Jeff?
No, we got people that are close.
Okay. This experiment was conducted. I'm disappointed. They should have got it already. This experiment was conducted on the Catawba River to create an alternating current generator. Tesla was financially backed by Payseur and Morgan. Since you always test a new idea out before you take it public, all the bugs were worked out in North Carolina before it was taken to the Columbia Exposition at Chicago and on the Niagara Falls, the Great Falls. In North Carolina, in the same place today, is the original electric company, still owned by L.C. Payseur Air. The name has been changed to Duke Power. One of the most famous rivalries of the turn of the 20th century was between George Westinghouse, who was also a Pesur man, and Thomas Alva Edison, as to whether AC, alternating current, or DC, direct current, was the best way to light people's lives, proverbially speaking, of course, across the country. Westinghouse had long been a proponent of the alternating current polyphase generator invented by Tesla.
Shift in the high, got it. Charleston, Cincinnati, and Chicago Railroad are the parents to the Federal Reserve. You are correct, shift in the high. I think I see a lot of people got really close. And we needed 3, and shift in the high, ding, ding, ding.
Shift in the high, better not have used AI for that.
AI, degenerate AI.
Edison had invented the DC light bulb for the use with the 12-volt system on railroad carriages and was a chief proponent of the DC system. He was also one of the main forces in GE, General Electric, another Pesur-owned company, and between the two companies, Westinghouse got the contracts to build and install the generators, and General Electric got to design and build the electricity distribution system. Both Westinghouse and General Electric are ultimately owned by the railroads. Remember, you couldn't have an electric company unless you had a railroad company, and Tesla did not.
Shady. I'd like to bust shift in the high.
Oh,
he cheated.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he had the book open.
Oh,
but hey, that's part of the study guide. We will ask this question again and see if anybody else gets it.
You didn't say put your books away before you answer the question, so we can't really fault him for that.
I did not. That's
right.
So but I also did not say it's an open book test.
Oh, you got a point there. Punch, counterpunch.
All right, here we go.
After Tesla's great success with the invention of the AC current, which we still use today, by the way, he started creating inventions that would allow the people of Earth to have a cheaper supply of electricity. Oh, that's where he ran into trouble. Unfortunately, the people that were using his original invention of alternating current were getting rich off of the construction of hundreds of power distribution plants through the sale of electricity to the public. They did not want anyone to have cheap or no-cost power. The civilization did not matter, just money, power, and greed. Remember, like I said, that you had to have a railroad company to have an electricity company. Therefore, Tesla didn't qualify for having one of those. American students have been deprived of any opportunity to learn about Tesla because his name is seldomly mentioned in school books, even science textbooks in the United States, and the nation which Tesla had honored with his citizenship, and the point from which his great inventions had rayed forth like light from a central sun. The people in control do not want his advanced inventions used in this country because they would allow people to have many things cheap and free, and that would mean low or no profit for them. In Richmond, Virginia, 1910, there was a man by the name of William F. Trigg. Trigg had a contract with
Triggered.
No, that wasn't him. This was Trigg. Triggered was his brother. Trigg had a contract with the Alabama Fuel and Iron Company of New York to supply the steel for its new project. A division of this company moved to Pascagoula, Mississippi, to become the Electric Boat Company. This company was to develop some of the revolutionary technology given to Trigg while working with Nikola Tesla. Building and testing of the new technology was started with the submarine and the submarine destroyers. Here we go. This company is now known as General Dynamics. It is also related back to the Charleston, Cincinnati, and Chicago Railroad Company. Yeah, we kept reading long enough, you would have gotten it from there. With the creation of the Electric Boat Company, some of the stocks of the company were sold to England, France, and Germany.
And by the way, Shady, that's the Federal Reserve Bank parent companies, guys. Okay,
right? Yeah, they're currently doing a renovation. With the creation of the Electric Boat Company, some of the stocks of the company were sold to England, France, and Germany, and then came World War I, so that their new invention could be field tested and all sides could profit from this new technology. I want to read that to you again. With the creation of the Electric Boat Company, some of the stocks of the company were sold to England, France, and Germany, and then came World War I, so that their invention could be field tested on all sides could profit from this new technology. I want to remind everybody that the Rothschild split up that occurred, where the 5 brothers went to Germany, Naples, Vienna, Paris, and London, those 5 were the ones that were all working in tandem to generate World War I, then World War II, currently working on World War III, not going so well. When I first became involved with the heir to the Pesor dynasty, I started getting bits and pieces of information about everything from railroads to implants used on high-level people. For many months, I was almost in a numb state because I knew that I had found the missing link, that everyone that is looking for the rebellious they, I had found it.
Nebulous?
Nebulous. What did I say?
Rebellious.
I said rebellious?
Yeah.
Nebulous.
Yep.
Wow. The nebulous they. A nebulae. If it had said nebulae, I wouldn't have read that as rebellious. The nebulous they I had found. I was reading the next line. I got a little ahead of myself there, Jeff. I apologize profusely. The nebulous they, I had found it. And all the pieces that put the puzzle together to a great degree. And this is Alex Christopher speaking from a first-person perspective there in that paragraph. I had known some things about Tesla, but the part that he played in the Philadelphia experiment was the one that intrigued me most because of what happened with the battleship, the USS Eldridge, becoming invisible, being transported from one place to the other, and then reappearing. One day, on one of my bone-picking expeditions with this man, he started talking about the government being able to take a rabbit and make it go invisible and be moved. I knew then that he knew a lot more about the things that intrigued me. So I started questioning him about the unified fields and the Einstein perfected and the government was now working with. What? That's unified fields that Einstein perfected and the government was now working with.
This is not easy to read because it's sometimes.
It's not. Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
And I just had found out that the heir's grandfather, L.C. Pesor, had been the one backing Tesla in the Great Falls experiment. And everything suddenly clicked with all the information that this man had been feeding me for months at this time. I started firing questions at him, left and right, and all of a sudden, this man just stopped answering me. The only thing he would say is, "I can't tell you." We later found out that he does this when you get too close to home. I was really mad. I knew I was on top of getting the answer about much more than the secrets about the Philadelphia experiment. This man was telling me that he didn't know what the Philadelphia experiment was, and I just couldn't believe it. With all of the government connections he and his father both had. So I dropped the search that sunny day and jumped into the Tennessee River for a swim to cool off. That night after we got home from the river, this man calls me, being his usual cheerful self. He says, "I thought about the things you asked me today, and now I have answers for you." He went on to tell me that the proper name for the experiment in question was Project Rainbow, and that his father had been involved in it. And that time he was the head of what is now called the CIA. He went into the great detail to tell me how it was operated and more. This family has been the backbone of many astonishing inventions and technology. I asked if the Pesor family, because it was the financial backer of Tesla, had inherited the plans to his dreams and plans of untold technology. I have never gotten the answer to this question, just a dumb and knowing look.
So now we go back into the railroad leases, okay? But this is very important on how they took your land and America's land. People don't realize that from the center of the railroad to many feet out, 20 feet, and they changed it, but that is owned by the government. Then it was given back to the railroads, okay? It's eminent domain. It's pretty crazy. Oh my gosh, we got a donation. Look at that. BW996, I had a very nice blessing, so I'm sharing with you two $100 Rumble Rant. Thank you so much. Wow.
Thank you very, very much for that.
That's huge. Thank you. So, and how was America financed? Where did the money come from? Okay. It came from these guys. Okay. It came from Daniel Pesor, who came from Queen Marie Antoinette, moved here to the United States, had Louis Cass Pesor. Louis Cass Pesor continued the work by, making the railroads and operating companies. And, it's all here. This is how your country was actually built, Shady.
this is how they created the monopoly that undermined your country. Let's characterize it
There
that
you
way.
go. Yes.
Because what they were doing was they were saying that you as an American don't have the authority to monopolize anything, and they made all these rules saying that you weren't allowed to monopolize anything. Everything had to participate in the free market. And at the same time, they made all these rules and everything. All these Fortune 500 companies, they made them like a team. So all the Fortune 500 companies are on the same team. Well, that team has carte blanche access to everything in the market. Why? Because they're the ones with the railroad companies. They're the ones with the steamship companies. They're the ones that created the company. So their law says you can't have an electric company without a railroad company. Do you understand that? That's how we got here. The law says all these different, whenever the decree came out to destroy the Indian population of America, that was at the behest of the bankers. It wasn't at the behest of the American people. The American people did not want the Indians driven to Oklahoma on the Trail of Tears. None of the American people wanted that. As a matter of fact, where I come from in Appalachia, the Cherokee we had integrated almost completely with the Cherokee, up and down the whole spine of the Appalachian Mountains. And then it came to the point where whenever they tried to drive them all out, we tried to save them. We tried to keep them around. And then the government, all of this stuff was government engineered from on high. It wasn't like the American people wanting these things. This is the same thing going on today. It's not the American people that want all of these high income taxes on you. You don't want that, but it's imposed on you. You thought that you threw a bunch of tea. American people, you thought you threw a bunch of tea you did it 4 times today. You thought you threw a bunch of tea in the harbor, and so you would get freedom and no tax. But you end up here with what? 30% income tax on everything you earn, not to mention all the other tax you pay.
What did they do to the Indians, guys? You guys don't realize. I mean, we went over this in one of our episodes too, Shady. Yep. They did this. They killed the bison so they couldn't eat, so they could take their frickin' land, guys. It was really bad.
And made them dependent on the European white man as opposed to being able to live off the land, which they had done for thousands of years before we got here.
And what happened, Shady, is I was opening up our Rumble show to see that we only have 265 likes. So if you're liking this show, and the 7 people thumbed it down because they don't like Donald Trump and Q proofs.
Bad.
7 people. We love our hate watchers.
Let's start reading this backwards since we've only got 265, yeah.
Okay, so I'll start. Wait,
that sounds Chinese.
It might be. All right, so that's when we get to the Lee family bloodline.
That's correct.
All right, so let's start going over the railroad leases. I'll start, Shady Groove, because you've been reading a lot. I'll do. This is a long one, so let's get through this. We got 15 minutes left, and this is good stuff. I'm a nerd, Shady Groove, so I love.
I love it too.
I love reading this stuff. And we find things in here together, reading it again, knowing what we know now. And this all ties back to Q, guys. Q post 1970 that nobody talks about. Nobody else talks about the bloodlines, but we do.
And I wanted to make a point real quick about that, if I could, about talking about the bloodlines. People, whenever we mention the bloodlines, if you say the bloodlines, mainstream media wants to call you racist. They want to call you anti-Semitic if you talk about the bloodlines. And we're going to make this very, very clear that we are not anti-Semitic and we are not talking about Jewish bloodlines. We are talking about ancient satanic bloodlines that are currently being groomed and farmed and gardened by the powers that be, the elite, not any specific religion and not even any specific family. The elite globalists are the real racist Nazis.
Because they change the bloodlines into J-O-O, okay?
Correct.
It's not the Jews, okay? It's the satanic bloodlines, okay?
It existed before the Jewish religion.
Yes. People are so stupid. All right, here we go. The railroad leases. After the Civil War, the railroad companies were building at a maddening rate. The companies were pushing finances and crews to the limit. DJ Destruct, thank you so much. We're going to go out with your song, okay? I saw it earlier, and I didn't need that, but thank you so much. He said, so glad you guys, wait, let me it just moved. DJ Destruct, we are going to go out with your song. That's the one I got queued up for the end of the show. Great job as always, $50 or $20 Rumble rant. Thank you. So glad you guys, Q and Trump, came along. It was a long fight. Be great to have one of my songs during your show. And we are going to go out with that even before you gave us that, DJ Destruct. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And anybody else that wants to feel free to give us Rumble rants, that's great because, you know, they always ask us,
who pays you?
Well, you guys do, and we're thankful. Okay?
That's exactly who does.
The railroads were getting into terrible financial shape and had to turn to the government many times for help because of poor management and overbuilding. Eventually, after a lot of argument from the railroad operating companies to the government about additional burden of federal excise taxes that were being levied against the railroad operation companies for goods and services, the rule was passed that all the due federal excise taxes could be rolled to the last day of the leases. Remember, they're 99-year leases, okay? All of the railroad lands and operating companies were leased out to tenants, okay? Like the people, like, you know, for example, just like not just the railroad companies, but like companies like GE, right? That was leased, you know, the Rockefellers, you know, owned certain things that was leased to them. They were the tenants and the lessor was the paysors, okay, guys? This is what you got to understand, okay? Land and all of the railroads, lands and operating companies were leased out to tenants and that are conducting activities on these railroad lands. Keep in mind the word tenant. With all the federal excise taxes being rolled into the last day of the lease, the original tenants of the railroad operating companies came up with an idea of how to get out of paying the taxes. Even though they do not have the authority to sell railroad land, as far as the research shows, there were no provisions to allow the tenants, the operating companies, to be legally capable of selling off land and property that does not belong to them. Situation we are dealing with here is no different than if you go to a major city and leased a big business that sold furniture and home furnishings. Let us say that the building came equipped with carpet, lights, fixtures, office equipment, etc., etc. Then you bought the merchandise to put in the store for sale. You would make your profit off that commerce. When you get ready to leave the premises at the end of the lease, you do not have the right to sell off the carpet, lighting, fixtures, land, and building that belongs to the landlord. You are the tenant. It is the same situation here with the railroads. One family owns the train equipment, the land that the trains operate on, and the buildings, and etc. On and on, okay? The operating companies are the tenants, and they are supposed to either renew their lease or return everything to the owner. But as any other leased property, just like any other leased property, they're supposed to also pay the federal excise tax for the past 99 years, too. But what they have been doing for many years is selling off land that belongs to the landlord, that is the railroad company, to various companies and individuals, and telling you that you now own the property. What they have really done is found a guppy to buy the tail end of the 99-year lease that is due to be up within the years of 1993 and 1995.
It's interesting how much different stuff started to change right then. That is whenever society really started to degrade, was whenever all of these leases were renegotiated or passed on or ended.
Whoever is sitting on the land will be the tenant at the time and will be looked at by the government as the one that owes the 99 years of federal excise taxes. And to take this just a little further, we have to go back to the original FEMA laws that were written back in the 1870s. That is the very same thing that is enforced today and just has the new name FEMA. The government has always had the power to seize control of transportation and communications in a time of emergency and distress in this country. The one little twist to all of this is that back in the Civil War times, laws were written that if the government takes the railroad granted land back from the family that owns it under a deed of trust dated December 15, 1865, because the leases were not renewed, at that time, the government has the right to walk into any odd section or railroad-owned land, odd or even sections, of that land and tell the people to get off. If that person or persons so persist that they own the land because they bought it and they paid for it and they have a warranty deed to prove it, there is no law written that states that you can either be put into prison for blatant outburst of total ignorance or shot on sight. If you have a warranty deed, you still have nothing. It has to be an allodial land patent. Allodial Allodial land patent.
Yes, allodial. Yes.
Allodial.
Cloture.
Allodal.
Cloture.
Cloture. What people have been buying for decades at the tail end of the 99-year lease. If you go way back in the records, you will see that it is stated in the country registry that they are leases that are to be surrendered back to the railroad on demand, no questions asked. And that also includes any improvements that you have made to the land also becomes the property of the railroad because you did the improvements on the leased land. How are you feeling right about now if you know you're sitting on a railroad land thinking that it was yours? It's all a plan to break the backs of the people of this country and to put them into total slavery. On the following 2 pages that have white writing on black background, you can find where it states that the land on an odd section had only been sold to a lease that the land was to be surrendered upon demand back to the owner, which is the railroad landlord. On the next pages, you will find the parts from the original Richmond and Danville Railroad lease date June 18th, 1894 for 99-year leases into the new company of Southern Railway. Okay. These are actual documents, guys. This is what we call us Anons. We call this souse, Shady Groove.
That's the South.
The souse. It's sauce. Okay. Did Rumble crash for y'all? I don't think so. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah. But Rumble crashes a lot when we talk about this kind of stuff.
It does. Well, let's do that first to show.
So this is the state of Alabama, Coleman County. This is the that the party of the first part does hereby rent and lease unto the party of the second part following the plot of land, guys. That's it right here. A railroad right of way passing through highway, whatever. Okay. It being understood and agreed that the party of the second part is to immediately surrender possession on the above described tract of land and any time when so requested by the party of the first part. You guys getting all this, right? That's the Coleman Coal Company. Wow. Unbelievable. And then this is other documents showing that the day of June of 1894, they're talking about, leasing to it or by the, I can't read that, they're within of other corporations, covenant datings. I can't read that really. Okay. A Southern Railway Company. This is all handwritten stuff back then, guys. Wow. And this is all in county documents. Okay. These are Southern Railway Company, Western Railroad Company. So, they're basically taking those over, just switching the names. Okay. So we'll just go through these documents. You guys, I think Poussin has been dropping the links. You guys can take, we might put them through AI as well. AI. And AI reads it pretty well and gives us a nice little description. But this is a charter. This is the one that was executed in June 18 of 1894 by virtue and pursuant of the act of the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Said act approved February 20th, 1894, creating a corporation and body politic with the name of Southern Railway Company. Okay. Interesting, guys.
There's all this stuff, they created all this stuff like the Virginia Company. In the very beginning of talking about all this stuff, we explained the Virginia Company and how that all connects to the worldwide trading system. So each time that they go through and generate another connection to that worldwide company, whenever we refer to globalists and globalism, this is what we're talking about.
And you know what? President Trump wants to do a deal with Europe, okay, the European Union. People don't realize that the Virginia Company pays money back to those people.
Yes.
So he's undoing that as well, guys.
That is correct.
Structuring the Federal Reserve. So this document constitutes a minuscule part of the public records, which since 1980 have been now under a federal court order of record sealed by the senior judge of competent jurisdiction pursuant to and under the authority of an act of the United States Congress of the 37th session, Part 2, Section 5, enacted on July 17th, 1892. This document has been transcribed from an original handwritten document filed. I think that's, okay, so this is the transcription, I believe, Shady Grove.
I think it might be the transcription of what we just passed over above.
Mm-hmm. This order preserved the knowledge of actual location of this particular document, blah, blah, blah. Where possible, all texts included have been faithfully reproduced. However, where the handwriting was found illegible, it'll be, marked as such. Whew, guys, I'm telling you. So this is basically what that document said. So to all to whom these presents may come, the undersigned, whose names are hereunto subscribed, Charles H. Carter and Anthony T. Thomas, a purchasing committee hereinafter called purchasers, who did purchase the railroad and property of the Richmond and Danville Railroad Company at a sale thereof held in the city of Richmond on the 15th day of June, 1894, under a decree of purchase and sale entered on the 18th day of April, 1894, in certain suit in equity pending in the Circuit Court of the United States of America for the Eastern District of Virginia, where the Central Trust Company of New York and others were complainants, and the Richmond and Danville Railroad Company, a corporation created by the existing under the laws of the state of Virginia, where the defendant in which suit was sought to foreclose the consolidated mortgage dated 22nd day of October in the year of 1886. And upon that, Shady, we're actually running out of time.
But this is actually getting us right to the leases, where it's showing us the source of the leases, which is all verifiable information that you can clearly see there. So where's that going to leave us to start next week?
Well, let's just leave it here, and then we'll just decide next week.
Okay.
But wow, Shady, any thoughts? I mean, look, there's deals being made. There's deals being made with the European Union. The European Union has a big interest in the United States. You don't even know that because it's hidden from you. Okay. And these people they want America dead. Okay. They want this country was dead, JD. And your president, Donald J. Trump, is reviving it. I mean, that's really, and it's the bloodlines. He is going head to head with the bloodlines. JD.
That's the real war. That's the real information war. The InfoWars, Alex Jones is on their team. I want you to understand this dynamic. Alex Jones and InfoWars, General Flynn and his whole network, Roger Stone and his whole network, all of those people are on Team Bloodline Family. You understand this? All of them, not being short of any. That's why they all went all in on this whole Epstein thing and went over the moon. This is the fight that we have been seeing with Q. The reason for Q was to explain to people the control system, the globalist control system, and how pervasive it really is and how much of your life that it really touches. All of these people that are in charge of the media companies, all these people that are in charge of the food companies, all these people that are in charge of the plastic companies, the railroads, all of this stuff, it's all goes back to the beginning of the Federal Reserve and the organization to make them the priority in the system. Next week, on this broadcast for the premium content, we will be digging into the Vanderbilt Empire. That is where you are going to see some connections to the modern era and to Anderson Cooper, who is mentioned specifically, and his family many, many times in the Q-Post. No, not because they had, quote unquote, a Jewish religion, because they are part of the ancient bloodlines that thinks that they are allowed to lord over Earth. Now we have to stand up. America is attempting with Donald Trump to stand up to this powerful elite that thinks that they have the right to control all business on Earth. We're blowing up their system. Thank God for you. Thank God.
All right.
Donald Trump.
Let me just read this as well. Shady Groove, well said as well. But you still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now is your shot. The 1775 coffee starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units, guys. And you're getting the you're getting the Bold Dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check. Medium roast and the Vitality Mushroom for a clean energy, laser focused, no crash, all single origin, small batch. Toxin-free and mold-free, plus you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your mother-in-law's political opinions, and a black 75 tumbler, that's 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. That's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who have been watching Rumble 1775 blow up on this show and Rumble. Wondering if it's worth it? It is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio. Grab your starter kit today before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs in what you believe. And we're going to get out of here just as promised, Shady Grove. Thank you very much. We love you all. And we're going to go out with DJ Destruct.
This is really good. You guys are going to love this. Thank you so much for your talent. Thank you for your creativity. And thank you for caring about America first instead of yourself first. I can see it clear as day. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
Arise, Anons, arise.
Darkness looms, the world asleep. Chains of lies descending deep. Whispers call through static haze. Arise, unknowns, break the pain. Awaken now, the sleepers rise. Echo the call, burn through the lies. War drums pound, the storm expands. Expel this evil from our lives.
Arise, Anons.
Eyes are open, sight returns. Through the light, the spirit burns. Digital prophets, voices roar, bringing down the deep state war.
www.mg.show. Boom.